Hey everyone, this is Just Phantom, and I wanted to talk about a particular subject that I had saw on Twitter recently. It was based off of a post by the Huffington Post, which, they're not known for being too great, but this is just me talking about how I feel about that particular subject. And the subject is eating disorders during the holidays. And the thing is like a lot of people view the way people view eating disorders. So, let's put this out there. I myself am a sufferer from an eating disorder. And I know a lot of people will get emotional about talking about that. But the thing is I've been open about talking about it in the past. So, I feel a little more motivation to talk about it. So, the thing is when people think of eating disorders, they always think of the whole typical getting really skinny thing, which isn't always the case with eating disorders. Some people can actually be a normal weight with eating disorders. Some people are incredibly huge. And that's my situation. I'm a big girl. I've been a big girl. Eating is how I cope, and has been how I coped for years. I would get sad about something, and then I would eat an entire pack of Oreos, or a big old bag of Takis, or just overall going nuts and ham when the holidays come, and I'm just eating and eating and eating and eating because I'm being compared to my sister, who is a much more curvaceous girl. The way her body builds fat and the way mine builds fat is completely different. And to be honest, I'm not jealous of my sister, but I do hate when my relatives kind of compare us, because it's we are shaped very differently. And part of it does have to do with the fact that I'm a shorter girl, my sister's taller, and I guess I'm more built like my mom in a sense, where my mom is more pear-shaped, and my dad's family is more kind of an an hourglass shape. So a lot of the women look like that, and I guess my sister got that and I didn't. And good for her. She's beautiful, and if anyone says otherwise, I will punch him in the face. Anyway, so yeah, I get a lot of comments back and forth about not being pretty, and that does have an effect on you. It mentally screws with you, along with which there are other things in my life that made my stuff worse. I myself also have something called CPTSD, which causes you to have horrible flashbacks and issues with memory and overall just a lot of things going on in your brain, along with which it can really screw around with your everyday life and how you cope with things. And so, because of that, I had an issue with coping in general, and it's had a lot to do with my past. I think this is kind of something, okay, it's kind of messed up to say, but this is kind of something normal for girls who are minorities, where they've had something tragic happen to them in the past, because a lot of us don't live in the best areas, we don't have the best upbringing, and I know people are gonna say, well, that's a societal thing, or it's a poor people thing, and all that, but it is more common with Hispanics and blacks than it is with any other group. So, this is just me speaking from experience. I'm not saying that if you are somebody who grew up in a specific environment and you just happen to be a non-Hispanic white, or be Asian and you went through something, I'm not saying you guys didn't struggle. I'm just saying this is more common with my group. So, after all that stuff happened to me as a kid, I developed a lot of issues, including issues with dealing with stress, dealing with overall anxiety in general, having horrible fits of depression, and because of that, I did not deal with food very well. My relationship with food was I couldn't stop myself. It's very much an addiction. If you ask I can't speak. Most people who had an ED or have an ED or still dealing with said ED, they do have a hard time dealing with stress, anxiety, and along that, it's very much an addiction to them to stay a specific way, even if they know what they're doing to their body is bad. And For some people, it's just something that they can't let go. It's a very hard thing to deal with. But I wanted to talk about this specifically for the holidays because a lot of the times during the holidays we're put under a lot of stress to eat and eat and eat and eat and overeat to the point where we're just bursting at the seams. And the thing is like, if you are someone who deals with an ED, like binge eating disorder, you do have that issue where it's like you want to keep on going and keep on going, and you're known as that person who can eat and eat and eat until you just can't go anymore. You're sleepy, you're gross, you can't move, your body just hurts. But you'll do it till you eat, and it's just the worst. And the thing is like, I dealt with that. I dealt with that a lot. Because I just didn't know what to do with myself. I was sad, I was scared, I didn't know what I was doing with my own body or my own life. Some people feel the opposite way during the holidays, where they feel like they need to look good, and to look good, they need to be thin. They need to fit the status quo as what is right. They need to be buff, they need to be cute, they need to look nice in these family photos, while others feel like, yeah, I'm already this type of body, so it's not even gonna matter. And it's like, both of these type of thoughts, which are very common during the holidays, are basically things that can contribute to causing an eating disorder. And the thing is like, when you tell someone that you suffered from an ED and they look at you and you're big, they're like, no, you're not, because you're not thin. Which is kind of crazy that every single time somebody who's bigger says that they have an ED, people automatically assume that no, they don't. The thing is like, EDs come in multiple forms. It's not just being super skinny or being super fat. It's kind of like a different range of things that can be bad. Like, there are people who eat objects that they shouldn't be eating. There are people who basically starve themselves to fit a particular body type. Overall, this is just stuff that people go through, and EDs surprisingly are pretty common, especially among women, because like, I'm not saying that men don't have issues with this. There are a lot of body image issues with men. In fact, I think the most common ED for men has to do with bodybuilding. So, I'm not saying men don't deal with this. It's just more common with women because we generally try to fit the societal norm for what is beautiful, and like, we'll do whatever it takes to fit that societal norm. We'll basically like, either we'll try to eat a specific way, we'll try to do things a certain way, or we'll just give up on stuff. I mean, I've noticed that's what makes a majority of the fat acceptance movement. I'm not gonna say the body acceptance movement or anything like that, because that particular group, body acceptance, or like basically body positivity, that was invented for people who have conditions that they can't control. So, in like, my view of that are people who are amputees, people who are burn victims, people who have went through a lot mentally, and the last group I would say would fit into this whole body positivity are people who tried to make positive changes and got messed up in the process. You know, like a person who had cancer and had to have their breasts removed, or have to have some part of them removed to remove the cancer, or somebody who, say, lost a lot of weight and they have a ton of extra skin. And I mean, I get this because I actually have that problem myself. I used to be quite large, and now I have the only bat wings going on under my clothes, to the point where it makes me uncomfortable anytime I wear a bathing suit or anything like that, because my skin sags. Not to the point where, like, because I guess I stopped myself before I got really huge, but I got there to the point where it still kind of looks odd, because, like, if I actually flex my arms, you can still sort of see the little bat wings under my arms, And, like, with my legs, they're kind of toned, but, like, it doesn't match because my belly's still kind of big. I'm still working on myself, and the thing is, like, it is harder for me to lose weight because I have thyroid issues. I have several other physical issues that are related to lupus, and those are things I couldn't control, but I'm not going to completely blame it for me being overweight, which I would say probably has more to do with the fact that I dealt with eating too much and having that control my life. And I'm going to say that, like, you don't have to let stuff like that control your life. You can work on you whenever you feel like you can work on you. But if you really do notice that people are worried about you, they say, oh, you seem sick, you seem unhealthy, there's something going on with you, that might be a sign that they're seeing something that you don't. And I know that, like, there are a lot of people who are dealing with different types of EDs where they just don't see what's going on. They don't see the full picture. So I would say if you do truly feel like there's a lot of people saying something that could be off, just take that to your doctor, like, and have them decide if you're unhealthy or not. So, like, in the case of somebody, say, like, okay, somebody who's very large, and then they started not eating, and people started to notice that they were dropping weight dramatically, I still think that they should see a doctor, because, like, what if they're not just, like, not eating, and the issue is that they have a thyroid issue or something like that? You know, checking with your doctor with stuff like this definitely is a good thing, because your physical and mental health are linked. If you are a larger person, you're more likely to have even more depression than you are as a moderately sized person. And I don't mean skinny, I mean average weight. Basically, a lot of people don't like using BMI as an indicator because it's not completely accurate, but you also have to think that the only reason it's not completely accurate is because it doesn't put muscle into consideration. And after you put muscle into consideration, then you can kind of balance it out and say where you fit in the BMI chart based off of your muscle mass. So it's still a good indicator for where you need to be. So take your BMI and look at it closely and see if it's an okay BMI. Like, would you fit into the normal range of a person your height? And take that, and you don't need to feel bad about it either if you don't, because that's the problem. If you feel bad about where you fit on the BMI chart, then you're just going to continue to do whatever you're doing, and it's going to make you feel worse. The better option would be to talk to a doctor, to a nutritionist, work on you, work on loving you in a healthy body. You can still love yourself, completely love yourself, but want what's best for you. Because a healthy body, a healthy mind is being body positive. You're being positive that your body is doing what it has to do to be the best you. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like, comment, and subscribe for more weird, wonderful, and everything in between content. And I will see you in the next one. Peace. Goodbye. Mwah.